So amongst the huge market breadth that we saw take place over the last couple of weeks, and regardless of how long the sell-off takes, obviously you know my thoughts, I think this is a huge overreaction, but regardless of how long it takes, it seems to be pretty damn clear that we, the little people, are going to be the ones that are screwed the most. Market sell-offs are when the big money, the suits, the men upstairs, Wall Street, whatever you want to call them. Sell-offs are when they fleece us of our money. It's happened in nearly every sell-off for the last 100 years, and it's happening right now. It doesn't matter the size of the sell-off, how long it takes, any sell-off is an opportunity for the big guys to fleece us of our money. And it's not like this big conspiracy theory where they're all trying to plot against us, and it's not even that they're out for us, though some of them may be. It's just simple math. Think bigger picture here, folks. Who is hurt the most? What demographic is hurt the most? When you have the top 50 Robinhood stocks, almost all in bear territory. Tesla, NEO, Plug, Sundial, Fuel Cell, CCIV, Virgin Galactic, Nano Dimension, pretty much everything is down huge and in bear territory. I mean, Tesla down 30%, one of the biggest stocks for both retail traders and institutional investors. What demographic do you think is going to be screwed when the top 50 Robinhood stocks are down in bear market territory? Is it the big funds that hold some of these stocks that have billions of dollars in assets under management, exposure to a lot of different sectors, including recovery plays, broader market plays that are still in a huge bull market and barely took a correction at all, funds that actually have the resources to work in risk modules to prepare for situations just like this ahead of time, and have teams of experts probably graduated from Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley, all those big dudes. Funds with the financial firepower to rival some small countries. Or do you think new traders are going to be hurt more? People who may be trading with some extra savings from their job and some extra income they have left over after their paycheck. People who are probably trading with a little bit more margin than Robinhood should have given them in the first place. Folks who went into the stock market with good intention and good excitement, but also weren't really given a chance to learn about economic cycles. Folks that may not have even had a chance to research a lot of the tickers that they were buying, and also work a full-time job so they don't actually have the time to put into the market anyways. Who do you think is going to be hurt more by this in the long term? For Wall Street, clocking in losses in part of your billions in assets under management may suck in the short term, but you still have the firepower, the patience, and the risk modules and talent to take advantage of it, and to withstand as well as understand 30, 40, 50% sell-offs in big plays like Tesla. And you also probably have the stability of having the rest of the market outperform and hedge your portfolio. And the biggest thing that big funds have is they have the ability to take concentrated losses. If you're a huge fund, you have the ability to take concentrated losses in growth sectors. Add oodles and oodles of more money to them at dips, not worrying if they dip more because you know you're getting a good deal. And then wait for a recovery that sees your profits grow dramatically. Whereas if you're the average retail trader, you're probably panicking at 10 to 15, 20% dips. Even if not, you're definitely having a faith crisis at 30% drops. And you're probably selling out in a panic and just locking in some losses because you don't want to take any more bleeding. Whereas as a huge fund, it's all part of that risk module to take the bleeding. And also maybe it's not just fear and impatience that's making you panic sell. Maybe there's genuine personal financial risk to you, because you put too much money in or you use too much margin. Wall Street doesn't have that personal financial risk. They don't have to worry about using the stock market as their emergency fund if everything goes to sheet, which nobody should be doing, by the way. You should always have some money saved away for everything going to sheet. The fact of the matter remains that during the COVID crash, just a year ago, many middle-class Americans sold out at disastrous prices in order to protect what capital they had left, to make sure they could ride out the pandemic financially. And what did these folks find after they sold out during that panic? Well, they found that they weren't able to participate in the rebound. They sold out at a loss during a record year for the stock market. And this is basically how the market hands short-term losses to Wall Street, but long-term losses to many of the individual traders. The reality is that they're just playing the regular market cycles against us. We let them screw us by buying low conviction stocks, by not having control of our emotions, by not putting the work in to actually value plays correctly, by taking on too many plays, by being too greedy, by not having correct risk management, by trading with more capital than we can afford to lose, by trading with margin that we can't afford to lose. We are basically letting them do this to us. We have the gates open to our little piggy banks. We're like, take it, take it. And then once we've bent over and they've taken everything, then they'll have the market rally up again and we'll get back in at the top. And sadly, folks, this is how market sell-offs are short-term losses for Wall Street, but oftentimes long-term losses for us little people. And at the end of the day, folks, I like to think of us as a step above the little people. We understand where the cards are stacked against us, and we understand where they're not. We understand that it's up to us, and it's up to us alone to be putting in the work, to understand that, hey, this has been happening for 100 years. It's going to happen more. We're going to have more market crashes. We're going to have more market corrections. We're going to have more periods of euphoria that we can take advantage of, and more periods where everything's panicking. But it's up to us to be logical and take advantage and exploit, because that's what they're doing. Nobody can predict how long a sell-off is going to occur, but this too shall pass, and we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up nicely. So folks, what am I proposing? Well, I'm proposing things that we've talked about throughout the entire bull run, throughout the entire COVID crash, throughout the time before the COVID crash. I'm proposing that you be logical with your trades and you put some work in so that you're confident in them. I'm proposing that you only trade with capital that you won't panic with. And I'm proposing that you're taking positions that are short-term in nature, that have short-term entries and exit plans, or you're taking high conviction long-term plays that you're willing to hold out and ride the volatility with. But I look at the stock market as a huge, complicated, inefficient world where you're trying to carve out your own path. It's our job to see through the BS, and when everybody's telling us that this is the end and all of the financial media is making money off our fear when they just recently made money off our euphoria, well, it's our job to look through that and cut through the BS. And of course, as traders, it's also our responsibility to do our due diligence on plays. We can work together. But anyways, I just wanted to give you this little bit of a rant because I think that at the end of the day, we as individual traders are often the victims of the stock market. I mean, we're voluntary victims, don't get me wrong, and this is a free market. I'm totally for a free market. At the end of the day, you have to realize that, hey, we are a participant in this market, and a lot of the market is centered around taking that money from us. Short funds trying to destroy retail traders and then making record profits. You have Robinhood and other brokers happy to make money off our trades. And you have big renowned funds like ARK Invest even, saying that their goal is to exploit that fear in the market. Stock market in many ways is a free market, and it's up to each individual to make sure they're playing their cards correctly. But the key is making sure that we're educated and we're understanding what's going on so that we don't become the product, so that we are participants, not consistent victims of it. And I think that at ZipTrader, especially for people who've watched us for more than a couple months, I think we've done a very, very good job of managing expectations, making sure that we understand the risks of market cycles, and making sure that we understand that this is a bigger picture. There's many little battles, but we have to win the war. I think that we've done a pretty good job of reminding people that when you have bull runs, you can take profits during bull runs. And if you're not taking profits, you have to make sure that you're only holding your high conviction plays. I used to say all the time, don't hold and hope. What that means is that you're not holding and hoping with plays you don't believe in. But if there's plays that you actually believe in, it's not called hope, it's called you put the work in and you believe in it. You're not hoping to get lucky, you already put the work in. I think that most of you understand how this game is played, but sometimes I just feel like I need to say it because I see some people that just have a completely toxic mindset when it comes to the stock market and the stock market's movements. Most of you are doing the right thing in your understanding that if you're buying high conviction plays at good prices, you're going to be set up to win. Okay, folks, quick recap to finish off the week. Today we had a little bit of a nice bounce, not terribly out of character from what we've seen the last few weeks. You tend to get bounces after the biggest days of losers, but make sure that you're taking advantage of some of these short-term plays on these days. This week we got two huge redeeming plays. We had Eyes, which we briefed on this morning because they had FDA approval. We briefed on it in the pre-market. And we also had Rocket from earlier this week. That was another one that we had briefed on in the pre-market. And both of those really blew our expectations away. At the end of the day, though, a lot of our longer-term plays just got completely hammered. It was really the short-term plays that shined this week, or shined. It had shined. Short-term plays shine this week. Yes, short-term plays shined this week. Eyes was just insane. Obviously, an FDA approval is a huge catalyst, and that's why we briefed on it. But this one was just like, it really blew our expectations away. And this was despite the market throwing a temper tantrum. So it was nice to have some good plays. And it's like I said before, it's really good to diversify and make sure that you're having plays in different sectors, different catalysts, short-term, long-term, so that you can take advantage when you have these terrible weeks. Just because your long-term trades are losing doesn't mean your short-term ones have to lose. And I'm excited to cover more about Eyes and Rocket and why we found those and sort of the goals with those. But right now, Charlie is tired and Charlie needs to go to sleep. This has been a long week and I'm running out of tea, so give Charlie some shut-eye and he'll be back on Sunday with our top stocks video. Super excited for what's going to happen the next few weeks. Sell off or not, we're going to have tons of good opportunities. Also, don't think you're getting away without hitting that ravishing like button and that subscribe button. A lot of people always ask me, Charlie, what broker should we trade these stocks on? And I always like to tell them Webull. Webull is a great platform. They offer pre-market and after-hours trading. A lot of the biggest moves like CCIV, Workhorse, all of that good stuff. A lot of those big moves happened in the pre-market and the after-hours. So if you didn't have a broker that allows you to trade during that period, well, you'd be Scroogeled. I'll put the link below, but they are a great platform and I think they're worth checking out. And if you'd like to learn how to trade, would like access to our private chat and daily morning briefings, as well as our price target updates when we do update our price targets, well, I will go ahead and put the link to ZipTrader below. You can learn all about it on the website, see if it's a good fit or not. Take some time to think about it. We want to make sure that you're a good fit and you feel confident and ready to put in the work. So anyways, folks, have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.